This video is sponsored by LG and NVIDIA. Well, here it is, ladies and gentlemen, my updated dream setup tour of 2021. It's a little bittersweet because I'll be taking this apart in a few months as I move to my new home later this year. So I thought, why not show you guys one final time what my setup looks like after some recent upgrades. So what you're looking at right now is my happy place, my oasis, if you will, where I can escape from reality and just immerse myself into games or entertainment. I no longer edit videos for the channel, so this setup is strictly for gaming and media consumption. The star of the show is, of course, my sweet baby Big Red version 3.5, a custom gaming PC, which is a temporary system that I built to satisfy my gaming needs until I build my dream gaming PC later this year. It is equipped with an i9-11900K that's overclocked to 5.1 GHz. We also have 64 gigs of RAM and the Asus Strix GeForce RTX 3080 in white. As you can tell, I went with an all-white theme to stay as color neutral as possible so that I can completely change the theme of the entire setup to whatever I want, whenever I want. If you want to check out the build video on the PC, I'll drop a link to it down below. So the PC is hooked up to a dual stacked monitor setup with a 34-inch LG Ultra Gear on the bottom and a 27-inch 4K monitor up top. Very similar monitor layout like before. However, I did downsize the bottom ultrawide from a 38-inch to a 34-inch for several reasons. First off, this is LG's new Ultra Gear monitor for gaming. It has a lower 3440 by 1440p resolution, but with a higher refresh rate. It comes out of the box with 144 Hz, which can be overclocked to 180 Hz. And since I'm focusing more on gaming, this upgrade made the most sense to me. Essentially, I gave up some pixels and physical size for a smaller and higher refresh rate nano IPS display. In exchange, it actually freed up extra space on my desk and allowed me to lower the top monitor, making it more comfortable for me. As you can see, the ultrawide is still kind of tilted at an angle, just like how the previous monitor was, but it's not as noticeable as before, so it did take me a much shorter time to get used to. I get constantly asked if the angle of the bottom monitor is uncomfortable for my eyes and neck. Well, the short answer is no. I'm not gonna lie, at first it was very strange for me because my eyes weren't used to that angle, especially being that low to the desk. But like most things in life, you get used to it after a certain amount of time. I didn't experience any neck pain, nor did I have any problems reading the text off either of the monitors for those wondering. And in fact, I recommend a similar layout for those who want to stack monitors. The LG Ultra Gear also has a VESA display HDR 600 with DCI-P3 color gamut, which is great if there's an emergency where an editor isn't available and I need to do some color sensitive work like editing videos. I just like using an ultra-wide curved monitor for that immersive experience. You know, Genshin Impact is a beautiful game and I do enjoy it a lot more on a wide monitor. And since I'm using an NVIDIA GeForce RTX graphics card, I can take advantage of the new NVIDIA G-Sync Ultimate feature, which improves overall image quality and performance on the GeForce platform. This monitor is actually the first LG monitor with NVIDIA G-Sync Ultimate. This means virtually no screen tearing, stuttering, artifacts, or flicker during gaming, and high refresh rate support, up to 240 Hz and beyond, so you can enjoy ultra smooth graphics and react instantly to what's on the screen. If you guys noticed, I've also skinned the bottom bezel using white vinyl so that there is more consistency with the setup's color scheme. The top 27-inch 4K monitor is mostly used for gaming. This is the monitor I use for Warzone because of its 16:9 ratio and the 144 Hz refresh rate. I also have the monitor connected to an HDMI switcher with the PS5, so when I want to game on the console, I just switch over with a press of a button. I only have one headset that I use with the whole setup, the ROG Strix Deltas in white that I keep on a headphone stand when it's not in use. When I game on the PS5, I simply disconnect the cable and plug it directly into the USB-C port on the front of the PS5. And I guess since we're on the topic of audio, I do want to take this time to mention my badass speakers that I recently picked up. The Kanto Tuck premium powered speakers with matching speaker stands. The stands are amazing because it raises the speakers so it's closer to ear level, but it also has a cutout in the back to help route the cables. As you can see, I also added a white sleeve over the black cables so that it blends in a lot better. As far as the speaker quality, I can't really demonstrate them through a video, sadly, but I do have to say that these are the best looking and best sounding speakers I have ever heard. The crisp high ends with a really deep bass is enough to make a grown man cry. I use them mostly for watching videos and listening to music while I'm getting work done, but sometimes I do like to blast them while playing Genshin Impact. Don't judge me. The last piece of audio equipment I have in my setup are my microphone and boom arm, which I've moved over to the left side of the desk. I found that this is a much better location because of how easy it is to use. I simply pull it towards me when I need to use the mic, and it doesn't get in the way of the monitors because it is positioned perfectly right in front of my mouth. Then when I'm done using it, I simply tuck it away in the corner. I'm using a Rode Broadcaster microphone with my Rode AI1 audio interface that's mounted underneath the desk. Both the microphone and the boom arm have been painted in white for consistency, of course. I do have the white XLR cables wrapped against the boom arm with clear rubber bands. That way it can expand and contract as the boom arm extends out. Using Velcro straps won't work here since you need something elastic. Another thing you guys have probably noticed at this point is that the desk no longer has that nasty red border. As I shift completely over to an all-white setup, I did my best to get rid of any colored accents in the setup. I cover the red accent using white electrical tape, but I'll be getting rid of the desk altogether once I do move, so this is just a temporary solution. Once I do move to my new home, there will be a brand new custom desk built. In fact, I'll give you guys a quick sneak peek at what it's gonna look like. My buddy Danny from my Discord server did a quick 3D model of what the new setup would look like, and yes, that is Big Red version 4 mounted on the wall. Of course, this is a very simple design as I'll be doing a lot more to this next year. Alrighty then, moving on to my favorite part of the setup. Well, I should say one of my favorite parts, the peripherals. As most of you guys know, I recently built myself a new custom keyboard, and if you guys missed the video, links will be provided below. But I did go all out and built my dream custom board with the Rama M65B Milk. I went for the Duroc L2 switches and the GMK bleached keycaps, and I'm just seriously obsessed with this keyboard. I can't believe how long I've been using a cheap pre-built keyboard. There is no going back after this. In fact, I'm working on building a few more boards just for fun. In order to appreciate the beauty and performance of this keyboard, I had to go with a custom coiled cable to complement it. For mice, I actually swap between two. I use the MX Master 2S mostly for work because I just love the hyper scroll wheel, and not to mention how comfortable it is, but I do switch over to the Model O wireless for gaming. One thing I recently added to my setup is the Carpio 2.0 from Delta Hub. This is a wrist rest for your hand. This is one of those things where you don't really know how much you need it until you use it. This allows me to glide my hand more comfortably and avoid applying pressure to the underside of my wrist. Plus it helps keep my mouse pad a lot cleaner since my hands don't touch the pad. Speaking of pads, I guess this is the perfect time to mention my official TechSource mouse pads. I've launched a total of 8 designs in the past 2 months, 4 of which are limited edition, meaning if they go out of stock, they are gone for good, like this dark matter design for example. But I've got some really exciting news for you guys. I'm releasing 4 more designs. Well, technically 1 design, but 4 different colors. These will be pre-order for the time being, and they'll start shipping orders next week. So if you guys want to pick one up or any of the previous mouse pads that I launched, then make sure to visit dealsource.tech/store or just click the link down below. These mouse pads are 38 by 16 inches with 3 millimeters in thickness. They are very grippy, high quality pads with excellent glide. I'm sure you guys will find a design that will fit your setup perfectly. Since both mice are wireless, I do have to charge them from time to time, and I was tired of running a cable across the desk to do this, so I installed a drawer underneath the desk as a solution. This is where I keep my PS5 controller and whatever mouse that I'm not using currently. What's so special about this drawer is that it has a cutout near the back. This allows me to pass through the cable so that I can charge my mouse and the PS5 controller when I'm not using it. So for example, let's say I'm using the MX Master 2S while I'm working. I put away the Model O and I plug it in the USB-C cable so that not only is it charging, but it's also away from sight. This keeps the surface of my desk neat and tidy at all times. I do the same thing with the PS5 controller. Of course, I still have my tiny, trusty pencil drawer, which I use to keep all of my essential items in here, like a couple of pens to sign contracts, USB drives, and my YubiKey, which is a security key needed to gain access to my PC. I've actually mentioned this in a previous cool tech video. There's nothing too exciting with the cable management. I decided not to redo them since I'll be taking apart the entire setup in a few months anyways, so I just didn't think it was worth the time. I'd much rather spend those hours playing Genshin Impact if I'm being honest, but for the most part it's still under control to the best of my ability, given how much little space I have left over from all the upgrades I've made over time. All I gotta say is the cable management is gonna be next level for my new setup. And finally, I do want to talk about the lighting, which I think is essential for any setup. Lighting helps bring the setup to life. It adds this layer of personalization because you can express yourself through RGB. I think RGB is really amazing because it can completely transform the look of your setup if done right. So during the day, I'm in productive mode. I don't have any of the lights on the wall on, that way it's not too distracting when I'm trying to get some work done. But as soon as the sun sets, I transition over to gaming mode. The entire wall lights up because I have both of the Nanoleaf panels and the Govee glides set on a schedule. They turn on at 6 p.m. every day and they shut off at 12 a.m. I do have to admit, I kind of went overboard with the 56 Nanoleaf panels on the wall, but at the same time, they do look pretty dope, so I have no regrets. In addition to the Nanoleaf panels, I did add a Govee glide on the left side of the wall. I feel like the lighting was too unbalanced on one side of the wall, so I wanted to spread it out a little bit. I thought of a great way to highlight the display I recently picked up. This is one of my favorite scenes from Dragon Ball Super. Goku in Ultra Instinct mode going up against Jiren. By far one of my favorite fights in the Dragon Ball universe. And in case you didn't realize from the shelf of collectibles up top, yeah, I'm a huge Dragon Ball fan, specifically Dragon Ball Super. But I do want to take a moment and talk about these Govee Glide wall lights because I think they are so underrated. They are basically LifeX beams, but cheaper. The lights on these bars get extremely bright and they are perfectly diffused from start to finish. They come in 6 smaller pieces and 1 corner adapter that allows you to connect them any way you want to add some really cool accent lighting to your room or setup. The only caveat is that you can only connect 6 bars and 1 corner piece. So if you do end up buying multiple units, they have to be separately connected. Just like all Govee products, you can control the lights using their app. There is a nice selection of over 40 dynamic scenes you can pick from, or you can completely customize it from scratch, which is what I did with mine. So in addition to adding static colors to each diode on the strip, you can actually add a dynamic effect as well. I wanted the Govee bars to match not only the colors of my setup, but also the same effect. As you can see, I have this gradient wave type effect that starts from the Nanoleaf panels and it makes its way down to the peripherals and all the way to the PC. So I basically went into the DIY section and I made a custom retro synthwave theme. You basically pick all the colors you want displayed and you choose an effect. There are some really cool ones to pick from, but my favorite is the rainbow effect. You can even do a combination of effects by going with the combo option. The lights are also compatible with Amazon Alexa and Google Assistant, so you can turn them on by voice, which is really cool. But since I have them set on a schedule, they already do that automatically each day. But yeah, overall, such a cool piece of tech. I highly recommend picking one up if you're looking to add a bit of spice to your setup. I'm gonna let you guys in on a little secret and show you guys how I'm able to control all the lights in my setup just using one software. I used to use 6 different apps to control the lights in my setup. Until recently, I switched over to Signal RGB. With this app, I'm able to control the lighting from my keyboard, my mouse, and all the parts in my PC. Under the Devices tab, you can actually see a full list of all the supported devices you have plugged in. I have all 4 of my RAM sticks up top, my graphics card, even my Rama keyboard is on here. But this is where it gets fun. You can browse and download any effect you want from the homepage. There are so many cool effects available for free, and if you find one that you like, all you gotta do is download it and hit the apply button. Immediately, your entire setup's colors change to match the theme selected. It's insane. There are even audio visualizer effects that match the music you are listening to on your PC. My favorite effect has to be the sunrise visualizer. You can also edit anything you don't like underneath the customize option. So things like movement of the animation, the speed, the size, all the way down to the colors. For example, I do like the effect, but I don't like the colors. So I'm gonna change these up to match the retro synthwave color scheme of my entire setup. So there you have it. I get the same effect that I like, but in the colors of my setup. Now the current effect that I'm using with my setup and my personal favorite is the gradient wave. I've also customized this to only show 2 colors, and I just think it fits perfectly with my setup's theme. You can even position all of your gear in certain areas of the grid so that the effect you selected can look more natural as it will follow a certain lighting path. As you can see here, I want the lighting to start from the keyboard and mouse and naturally make its way over to the PC parts. The craziest thing about all this is that it's completely free to use, which just blows my mind because I feel like these guys deserve more credit on creating such an awesome thing for us gamers. In the past, I used to settle for specific gear just so I can use the same software to control the lighting. Like, I don't know if you guys remember, but I used to buy Corsair gear just so I can use IQ to sync up all the lighting. And I'm sure a lot of you guys watching this video are also in the same boat. With Signal RGB, you guys can finally go with the gear you've always wanted and not settle for something because of its lighting software. They support over 200 of the best RGB devices from leading brands like Razer, Corsair, SteelSeries, and more. Definitely check these guys out and see if your gear is supported on their website. And if it isn't, don't worry because they're constantly adding more to their list. I'll drop a link to their website, so definitely go check them out and show them some love. You'll thank me later. As always, I'll drop a link to everything mentioned in the video down below if you guys want to check it out. Do let me know what you think about my updated setup in the comment section down below. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed my setup tour of 2021. If you did, maybe consider tossing a like before you head out. And as always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next one.